The millionaire's daughter had just 3 days to live. Until a street kid did the impossible. The city's richest man, Mr. Raymond Cole, had everything: power, money, and respect. But all of it meant nothing when doctors told him his only daughter, Lily, had just 3 days to live. Her rare heart condition had reached its final stage and no donor could be found. Desperate, Raymond offered millions for a matching heart. But no one came forward. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, a 14-year-old street boy named Eli was fighting for his own survival, hungry, barefoot, but with a heart bigger than anyone could imagine. When fate crossed their paths, the world would witness something that defied logic: money and power. What could a homeless street kid possibly do to save a billionaire's dying daughter? The answer would shock everyone and redefine the meaning of humanity. Lily Cole had grown up surrounded by everything a girl could dream of: designer dresses, private jets, and the love of her widowed father. But none of it mattered now. Her hospital room was filled with machines, her heartbeat slowing with every passing hour. The doctors had given up hope. They told Mr. Cole that a matching donor couldn't be found in time. Raymond stood by the window of the hospital suite, looking over the city skyline. His reflection stared back at him, a man who could buy everything but time. Reporters gathered outside, covering the tragedy of the billionaire's daughter. Social media was flooded with sympathy posts. But none could ease the pain of a father about to lose his only child. Meanwhile, in the slums near the river, Eli wandered the streets with his little sister, Mara. They had no home, no parents, and barely enough food to survive. But that night, as Eli scavenged for scraps near the hospital dumpsters, he overheard two nurses talking. "She's just a little girl. Only 3 days left." "Yeah, poor thing." Mr. Cole offered $10 million for a donor match. Eli froze. He didn't understand much about transplants, but he knew one thing: he'd do anything to save a little girl if he could. Not for the money, but because no one had ever saved him or his sister. The next morning, Eli made a decision that would change everything. He sneaked into the hospital, barefoot and trembling. The guards tried to stop him, but his determination was stronger than their suspicion. "Please," he pleaded, "I need to see the man whose daughter is dying inside." Raymond stared in disbelief at the ragged boy standing before him. "You're wasting my time, kid," he said coldly. But when Eli told him he wanted to get tested as a donor, the room fell silent. Raymond almost laughed. How could this street child possibly be a match? Hours later, the doctors returned with shock written all over their faces. "Sir, the boy's heart is a perfect match." Raymond's world stopped. But before he could say anything, Eli smiled sadly. "If my heart can save her, let it. My sister will understand." Tears filled the billionaire's eyes. This boy, who had nothing, was willing to give everything. The surgeons warned that it was impossible. A transplant from a living donor wasn't viable, but Eli didn't care. He begged them to find any way to help her. When Raymond learned that Ellie's blood could be used for an emergency treatment to stabilize Lily temporarily, he immediately ordered the procedure. It bought Lily a few more days, but Eli didn't stop there. He began searching the city himself, talking to people, hoping to find someone else who could help. Eli spent his sleepless nights wandering from shelter to shelter, talking to strangers, getting tested wherever hospitals allowed him. He refused food, ignored exhaustion, and carried Lily's picture in his pocket. Finally, on the third day, a miracle happened. A homeless man in a downtown shelter turned out to be a full match. A man who'd hidden from the world for years. Afraid of hospitals because of his past, Eli convinced him, promised him safety, and brought him to Mr. Cole's mansion himself. The transplant was performed that same night. Hours later, the heart monitor in Lily's room began to beep steadily again. The doctors smiled. She would live. When Lily opened her eyes, the first thing she saw was Eli sitting quietly outside her room. Too weak, too tired, but smiling, Mr. Cole walked up to the boy, tears in his eyes. "You didn't just save my daughter," he whispered, "you saved me too." Raymond adopted Eli and his sister, giving them a home, education, and a future. And every year, on the day Lily was saved, the family visited the shelter where Eli once slept to remind the world that the greatest hearts often come from those who have the least. If this story touched your heart, share it to remind others that kindness has no price tag. Sometimes the poorest souls carry the richest hearts. Subscribe for more inspiring stories that prove humanity still exists.